The not-so-great escape. On a quiet evening in the small town of Crankville, a well-known, but utterly incompetent thief named Victor, the Slick, decided to break into the biggest house on Maple Street. Despite his unfortunate history of bungled robberies, Victor was confident tonight would be his masterpiece. Carrying a shiny crowbar and a bag labeled loot sack, Victor approached the mansion. The family was away on vacation, and all the lights were off. Perfect. No one will ever know. Victor muttered with a sly grin that looked more nervous than convincing. Victor, trying to look professional, pulled out a pair of gloves. However, he realized he had accidentally worn mittens instead. Undeterred, he used his crowbar to pry open a basement window, muttering, "A minor setback for a genius like me." He wiggled his way in, only to get stuck halfway. For 15 minutes, Victor flailed and grunted until gravity did its job. He landed on the cold basement floor with a loud thud. Victor dusted himself off and surveyed his surroundings. All right, step 1, loot the place. Step 2, leave a legend behind. His first stop was the kitchen. He rummaged through the pantry, hoping for a hidden safe, but found only a jar of peanut butter. Rich people have weird taste in valuables, he mused, pocketing the jar for later. Moving to the living room, Victor spotted a grand piano. "Ah, an antique," he exclaimed, trying to lift the enormous instrument. It barely budged. Undeterred, he scribbled a note. Asterisk, will return with a truck. Asterisk. As Victor ascended to the second floor, he heard a soft clicking noise. Turning back, he realized he had accidentally tripped the state-of-the-art security system. The house was now on lockdown. Oh no! No windows, no doors open. How does a genius escape his own trap? Victor scratched his head, pacing around like a caged hamster. In his frantic search for an exit, Victor stumbled into the library. Seeing rows of books, he figured, rich people hide safes behind bookshelves, right? He pulled on every book, hoping for a secret door. Instead, he triggered an avalanche of dusty encyclopedias that buried him completely. From under the pile, Victor groaned. Who even reads anymore? Desperate, Victor pulled out his phone to Google how to break out of a locked house, but the battery was dead. Typical, he sighed. Then he spotted a landline phone on a desk. Brilliantly, or so he thought, Victor dialed the police, disguising his voice. "Hello, officer. There's a, thief trapped in my house. Please come quickly." The dispatcher, used to odd calls, replied, "Sure, sir. Could you describe the thief?" He's tall, handsome, and, wait, no. He's short and, has a crowbar." "Hurry!" Victor hung up, patting himself on the back. "They'll arrest the imaginary thief, and I'll escape in the confusion." Unfortunately, Victor's confidence blinded him to the flaw in his plan. He was the only one inside. While waiting for the police, Victor decided to loot more rooms. In a bedroom, he found a fancy lockbox. He attempted to pick the lock, but only managed to jam his crowbar inside. Annoyed, he tugged with all his might until the crowbar flew out, smacking him in the face. Dazed, he stumbled into the walk-in closet and accidentally locked himself inside. "This is fine," he muttered to himself, sitting among fur coats. "The police will save me." Minutes later, flashing lights filled the driveway. The police surrounded the mansion. Hearing footsteps upstairs, the officers called out, "We've got you surrounded. Come out with your hands up." Victor, still in the closet, shouted back, "I can't come out. I'm locked in." The officers exchanged puzzled glances. "You're stuck?" one asked, suppressing laughter. "Yes, and bring snacks." "I'm starving," Victor yelled. The police eventually freed Victor from his plush prison and promptly arrested him. As they escorted him out, Victor muttered, "I'd like to report this house for being unnecessarily complicated." Word of Victor's escapade spread like wildfire in Crankville. The locals couldn't stop laughing at the thief who trapped himself and called the police to rescue him. Victor, ever the optimist, saw this as an opportunity. From his jail cell, he began writing a book titled Asterisk, The Art of Foolproof Robbery, a memoir. Asterisk it became a bestseller, mostly because people thought it was a comedy. And so, Victor, the Slick, finally achieved fame, just not the kind he had in mind.